Hey, if you've been in business for any length of time, you probably already realize that your marketing list is your most valuable asset, but it deteriorates. I'm going to teach you how to grow your list so you can get much more out of your most valuable asset. Ready? Here we go.
Welcome to the Everything Email Podcast with Ken Countess. Ken is a world-renowned email marketing expert. He'll help you 10x your business with email strategies that generate more sales. And now, here's Ken Countess.
Welcome to episode 60 of the Everything Email Podcast. I'm Ken Countess. We've had over 3,500 downloads of our podcast since we started, and we're in over 50 countries. I hope you make this podcast something you regularly listen to, because I guarantee you, every time you do, you'll get more tips on how to be a better marketer and how to grow your business. This time around, we're going to talk about the value of your marketing list. You probably realize, if you've been in business for any length of time, that having a list is really important. Why? Because it costs so much more to find a new customer than to do business with an existing or past customer. Now, they may or may not have actually paid you money. They may be on your list, and if they follow you, whether it's on social media or email marketing, or maybe you regularly show up, maybe your website shows up in their SEO when they do a Google search, that's not as likely. But if they hear from you regularly with an email, you're building a relationship with those people. And we all know that people like to do business with people they know. So the more often they engage with your email campaigns, the more likely they are to spend money with you. So having a marketing list is super important. And as I say, it's probably one of the most valuable assets for most businesses. Now, the good news is that as you continue to send emails to people and continue to build that relationship with them, and as they get closer to being an actual cash-paying customer with you, the better. That's the good news. Now, for that reason, it makes sense for you to continue to grow your list, expand your reach, get more visibility. And it's something you really have to do a lot. The downside of a mailing list is this. There's some data that says over 30% of email addresses go bad every year, or that people unsubscribe from your list. So why do people drop off your list? Well, they may have changed jobs, so they're at a different email address. They may have changed email service providers. Maybe they went from AOL email to Gmail, for example. They may have changed the focus of what they do. Maybe they're in a job at a company and they have less need for the kind of content you provide. And then, of course, there are those who unsubscribe. They just say, you know what, I don't need this email anymore. So for whatever the reason, all of those components make up this 30% average decline in email lists every year. So on a monthly basis, that may be 2 to 3%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but over the course of a year, that adds up, right? 30%. So what I'm going to do during the next few minutes is help you learn how to continue to grow your list. And you could do it fairly passively. It's just a matter of knowing what to do. And I will do several podcasts over the next several months on growing your list, because this is so critically important. So there are 3 primary ways that people grow their list. One is in person. They just simply ask people, hey, would you like to join my mailing list? That's cool, but give them a reason to join. Let them know that they're going to get some sort of a valuable asset from you when they join, because nobody wakes up in the morning saying, I can't wait to join another mailing list. Nobody does that. So when you're in person, if you'd like to ask someone if they'd like to join your list, tell them they're going to get a free checklist or a free PDF or access to a special library. Another way to get people to join your list is on your print materials. Perhaps when you send out a business card at an event. Maybe signage at your location if you have a brick and mortar. Flyers, brochures, direct mail. Those are all great ways to get people to join your list. And last, and probably the one that'll work best for you and is the most passive, is online. Have a way for people to join your mailing list on your website. Maybe it's a pop-up or a fly-in or a static page to encourage people to join your list. On social media, make sure that there's a way for people who follow you on social to join your list. And don't do it every time. Just periodically invite people to join your list and give them the reason why they should be joining your list. In your email signature, that's another great passive way for you to get people to join your list. Way down at the bottom of your email, under where you have your name and your contact info, have a clickable link for them to join your mailing list. Maybe if you have an e-commerce store, maybe you're on Shopify or WooCommerce or something similar. During an online purchase, have them join your mailing list there. And otherwise, host an event. When you host an event, people have already shown an interest in you and your business. What a great way to have them join your mailing list. All right, so, and in that vein, I'm going to invite you to join my mailing list. If you go on my website, it's kenisemail.com. There is a link up at the top to join the list, and when you do, you'll get access to a free download that'll enable you to have more tips on how to grow your business. Hey, thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening to it on Apple or Stitcher or Spotify or Google, or maybe you're watching on YouTube. Regardless of where you're finding the Everything Email podcast presented by kenisemail.com, be sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Now it's your turn. Let's hear from you. Do you have a story you'd like to tell about how you're using email marketing, or maybe you just have questions? Drop me an email at ken@kenisemail.com. Hey, thanks for listening this time around. If you're interested in working with me, go to kenisemail.com/packages. kenisemail.com/packages. Hey, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Everything Email Podcast with Ken Countess. If you like the podcast, tell your friends and coworkers about it. Be sure to visit kenisemail.com to sign up for Ken's mailing list. You'll get great marketing tips every week in your inbox. Have questions? Send Ken an email. It's ken@kenisemail.com. See you next time.